I'm Zach with the Franklin Astronomy Club, and I have some cool stuff to share with you. One of our favorite telescopes is this 11-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope by Celestron. This is the Celestron Edge HD version. And they call it an 11-inch telescope because they're talking about the diameter of the primary mirror. It collects all the light from whatever target you're looking at. There it is in the back, this big mirror. And if you're looking at the moon, for example, the moonlight comes in, hits that mirror in the back, gets focused and reflects off of a second mirror behind here, called the secondary mirror. Very original. Good job, astronomers. And that light then goes into this baffle tube in the back. And the Edge HD version has a corrector lens inside of there. Other Schmidt-Cassegrain telescopes don't have that particular lens. But anyway, light goes sent back to the telescope, where it comes through and bounces off another mirror. It's called a star diagonal because it's a diagonal mirror. We're just the best original name creators ever in astronomy. And light comes off of here, bounces up. You can put an eyepiece in here to control your magnification of what you're looking at and see wonders of the universe. And speaking of wonders, something very cool happened. I was speaking with a company called Deep Space Products and telling them about our astronomy club, and they sent over something that is wonderful. These are called Tempest fans. They're very cool little fans here. One's here, connector cable and a power cable. And why did they send over fans when we're trying to look at the sky? Well, here's how it works. This fan system goes into this port right here. So one fan for one port. There's a second port on the other side. Why do we want a fan in our telescope? Because telescopes are funny. They can have quite different temperatures of the air inside than outside the telescope, and that's bad. Picture a hot road in the summertime and what the air right above that hot road looks like. It looks like watery and disturbed, and we don't want to look through disturbed air. We want to look through nice smooth air. These fans draw in air from outside and blow out air from the inside of the scope very smoothly and cleanly, and it changes the scope's temperature to ambient. We want inside temperature and outside temperature to be the same, and the Tempest fans by Deep Space Products do that. So thanks so much, Deep Space Products. You've donated a really cool product that does a great job. It solves a problem that astronomers have had for decades with trying to get ambient, good temperatures of air inside their telescopes and outside. So if you're thinking about that with your own telescope, look into that company. Really cool people and great products. Those are called Tempest fans. And speaking of cool products, let me share with you some other good stuff. Here we have StarSense Auto Align. This is new this season. Really cool little kit. It's a little camera system that straps onto, not really straps, it will be secured properly onto the telescope. And the camera is not for taking pictures, but it actually looks at the sky and interprets what star pattern it is looking at, and therefore what pattern and what part of the sky your telescope is looking at. And then that little camera is mounted on there. It talks to, via a little cord, the mount. It talks to the mount that controls how the telescope moves and how it slews across the sky. It says, hey, mount, you're looking here at the sky. Now I need you to look there at the sky. And it moves the telescope around with an initial alignment and says, all right, now I know everything in the sky and what everything is, where everything is positioned. And so now you, me, anybody in the club who's operating the telescope can say, okay, we've done an alignment. I want you to show me the Great Orion Nebula. Telescope moves, locks onto it, and there we are looking at the Great Orion Nebula. Really cool little system. That's called StarSense Auto Align. That's by Celestron. So that's new for this season. One other thing on the table here, we have a Celestron Guide Scope kit. This is a telescope that's designed to sit on your telescope on a telescope, and it's for people who do imaging of deep sky, faint fuzzy objects where you would need a long exposure photograph or a long exposure image to gather all the photons onto your sensor of your camera. And that scope is called a guide scope, very inventive language, because it guides the telescope tracking to make sure that it locks onto one spot, one star in the field of view, for example, and allows you to do a long exposure without having any drift or movement or shaking going on or any star trails. So you get a really long exposure, 3-minute exposure, 5-minute exposure, whatever your goals are, whatever you set up your camera to do. So we have that ability with this scope to do that kind of imaging, but we're actually going to use this scope probably for something called solar astronomy. We'll be using it with a special filter that goes in the front and a special filter on the back, where we will be able to observe the surface of the sun and solar flares and prominences and really neat things in the daytime. Because hey, kids have bedtimes. We can't all be up at 9:30, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night to see some cool stuff in the astronomy world. So, well, Franklin Astronomy Club, I'm going to do a whole video for everybody to see how we're going to observe our sun. And this is actually one scope that we'll be using to observe the sun, but we have a couple more. One quite large, a 6-inch refractor. I'll show you guys. I'll do a whole video separately to talk about some solar astronomy, but this kit also just came in the mail, and I thought, oh, I got to show everybody. I'm very excited. So, cool. Tempest fans solve this great problem with airwaves and ambient temperature issues with telescopes. So Tempest fans by Deep Space Products, thank you guys very much. Very excited to have this part of our astronomy club, part of our observing. And StarSense Auto Line, very fun. We're going to see how this guy works. And this new solar scope setup we're going to use as part of the solar scope. So if you want to hear more or find out more, we're facebook.com/Franklin Astronomy. You can search for us, just Google Franklin Astronomy Club, and you'll find us. And I can't wait to share with everybody some more fun videos. And yeah, I think we'll do a solar setup video and show everybody what it looks like when we have our telescope set up to view the sun in the daytime. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.